Good evening. This is Robert Pultz. And there we go. You should be seeing my slides now. This is Zotero. I've been doing presentations in Zotero for the Zotero SIG. This was a trip that I made to the library, and I did a couple presentations to different groups, including the Zotero SIG. And I received requests that I record what I did so people can take and review it and look at it and see what I'm doing. Play it back and rewind it and so on. So that's what this is all about. The trip was, when I looked forward in my calendar, I saw that I had about 1.5 hours between two meetings that were downtown, and I was just a couple blocks from the library. So I decided to take a trip down there and do a little bit of research. Previous trips to the library, I observed that they had a very good collection of Virginia books, and of course North Carolina's, because I'm in North Carolina. Don't have family in North Carolina though, but I do have family in Virginia, and that's actually a big black hole. My family in Virginia is right at the time between the Revolutionary War and the signing of the Constitution. They moved down there, and then in 1812 they moved to Ohio. So I have a pretty good hole, pretty big hole in Virginia. Uh, Most of them were born in Pennsylvania and died in Ohio. So there are not a whole lot of death records, although some family members did, not my direct line. Did stay in West Virginia. The two counties I'm researching are Berkeley and Jefferson, although since I married people in Virginia, it's possible that other counties are involved. For this trip, I was focusing on Virginia, of course, and that's now West Virginia after the Civil War. Since this was a short trip, I didn't do a formal research plan. I was just looking for what I call puzzle pieces to take and collect them right now. So I didn't take a whole lot of equipment. I took a cell phone. I took a list of the West Virginia resources and what that were in the repository, and a list of the people that I think lived in West Virginia. Like I said, this is similar to taking it and open up a puzzle box and putting the puzzle on the table and start sorting out the ones and putting the all of them face up so you can start looking at them. I was asked to do what I would take if I did a more advanced trip. This is one of the questions from the SIG. First, I would develop a research plan with a focus goal like you're taught to do in research like a pro. Next, I would take a good deal more equipment, including a laptop computer, my server driver, a book scanner, and my standalone digital video camera. Sometimes it does a better job than the phone and taking pictures, and also better than the scanner in some cases. I will try to do a video on that some point in the future. If you're interested, leave me an email and tell me that you're interested. This is analogous. This type of trip is analogous to sorting the puzzle pieces into patterns and colors and edges and so on. Based on this trip, I'll be returning with the book scanner because some of the images that I got were too blurred for me to take and work with, and so I'll be doing that. Okay. Okay. So let's see how I made my list. And this is how I made my list. I made my list at the High Point Library. This is the High Point Library catalog. And I searched on West Virginia and came up with this list of books. I saved that to my account, and then I took and printed it off. So I had a printed list. I attached a scanned copy of what that looks like. Back to this. Next, I needed to develop a list of surnames to be researched in West Virginia. And so I went to RootsMagic 9, developed a group of people that are born and died and resided in West Virginia. And The second printout, and then I printed that out as an individual list. I don't understand my notes, but that's okay. So here's the groups over here. You go over to this little pencil here. You click on that. You select what I made was the Virginia groups. If you're going to do a new one, you hit the plus, and then you start filling all this in. And the criteria I used, come on, birthplace contains Virginia, or marriage place contains Virginia, or, and that was a real important one in this case, or death place contains Virginia, few people in there, or residence place contains Virginia. So these two were the most important, the marriage and the residence in my family. So that generates a list. Let's cancel that out. Okay. 41 people, it said. Let's look at that again. You get 31 people right there. You can refresh that. And if you've changed anything in the meantime, that'll show up. So there's 31 people. Cancel out of it. And that list looks like this. So when you go to print it, you hit publish. You hit individual list, which happens to be up. And of course, it came up over here, which didn't do us a lot of good. And you come over and you select from the list of Virginia birth, death, and marriage, which is the group you just did. You say okay. And then you say generate a list. And that generates a list like this. And you have a sample of that to take a look at. Okay. All right, I'm going to end now and start back up in a few minutes with the rest of the trip. Well, hello, like a bad penny. Here I am. I'm returning. Let's do this section now. Okay. You should be seeing the screen now. When I arrived at the library, I found that a number of genealogy books were for sale. I chose two of them, kind of randomly, actually. The first one was the American Passenger Arrival Records, a guide for to records of immigrants arriving in American ports by sail and by steam. And the second one was Virginia court records in southwestern Pennsylvania, records of the District of West Augusta and Ohio, and I won't even try to say that. And there was a third county in this too, 1775 to 1780. And that third county is the name of a river in West Virginia, a major river that goes to to Pennsylvania, to Pittsburgh. And so anyway, I found both books. I brought them home. I used my book scanner at home on them because I now own them. And I've scanned them extensively because they're hard to read with my, I'm vision impaired, so I scan everything now. American passenger arrival records. You should have seen a sample of this. It's a guide to the records of immigrants arriving in American ports. Bought this for $1, and the reason it was so cheap is that the records that it's indexing in the back are the CD-ROMs that Border Bond used to sell. And but there's 70 or 80 pages worth of detailed information about how the immigration records are organized, where to find them, all types of really good repository information. And I really hope it's going to take and pull together some of my random thoughts out there on immigration. Let's see here. Here we go. Here's the contents. These URLs will all be in the comments, and so you can take and just link on those when I get this all programmed and everything. But this is the contents of it. I thought I'm kind of impressed with it. And see, there's New Orleans, which is one family, and I got Philadelphia, which is another family of mine. Of course, I have Baltimore, and have some coming into Baltimore too. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting book to get, and I look forward to taking and spending more time with it. The second book, and this was a gold mine. This is the Virginia court records in southwestern Pennsylvania, records of the District of West Augusta and Ohio, and I won't try it again, counties. This has a lot of data. It says Virginia 1775 to 1780, but there's stuff in here from 1748, and it goes up to about 1800 that I found just in the little bit of research I've done with it. It had hits on several of my families, including the Frys and Black. It covers the 1748 to 1841 conflict that occurred between Pennsylvania and Virginia on boundaries, where the boundaries were. It goes through the Confederacy of the United States and it on into the United States of America. So it's a block of time where I don't have a whole lot of data. I don't know about you, but I don't. That few years in there, things were kind of really up in the air. We'd won the war, and now we were trying to figure out what to do with it. And for Zotero, I did two separate collections, and I'll show you those before I get through. And the other one was for the surnames, and the other was for the context. This book is unusually ordered and covers a lot of material. The page numbering system in this book is strange. You have two page numbers. One is in the upper right, and that is the number that is used in the index. And the bottom bracketed number is the count of the pages in the book. So starting with 1 and going on. And in fact, I think they counted the cover page, if I understand it right. And the indexes themselves only use the bracketed numbers, which are the paper count numbers in the book. So you've got basically, you got to look in the upper right-hand corner for something that's in the index. You got to look at the bottom of the page if you're working from the front of the book to the back. And sometimes they use that number, sometimes you use the other number. And the book starts with page 505. And it goes to page 568, and then it starts again at 71. So it is a challenge to read. So let's see here. Let's go to Family Search. Show you this. This is the book in Family Search. They have it in their library. It does not appear to be downloadable. I don't know if if you can get it at a local Family Search library. I don't know how to tell that from here, but I'll leave this URL and maybe one of you will know it. And then this is what it looks like in WorldCat. And for some reason or other, my library here doesn't ever show up in WorldCat, and the librarian thinks it does, but it doesn't appear to in my case. So let's go back to Zotero. Now let's go up here and look at this book, and we'll come down to the library, and I have a category called purchases. Now, this book are these books to set them up. I put them in purchases mainly so I can find them for this presentation, but they're also copied into, immigration should have it. Virginia, West Virginia, here it is right here. And both copies of the documents are in there. So let's go back and work in purchases. Any changes I make in purchases, they show up in the ones that are out here. Okay. So this is a cross-referencing system if you're used to that. Passenger arrivals. Let's see what I put in there for my notes. Okay. I didn't do this. All right, here we go. I'm going to have a little increasing so you can read it. I took the pages that I've analyzed so far. This is notes that I'm taking on a per page basis. This is how I'm handling it. Putting it in Zotero, taking notes, and hopefully when I figure out how to search Zotero, I'll be able to find these notes and tag them and do all types of nice things that we're talking about doing with in Zotero. So here's the kind of stuff that I've been tagging. This is on the American passenger arrivals. It talks about where the lists are incomplete and different types of ships. This has a lot of information about the Mayflower families and the very first families in all the colonies, where to take and find information on them. Here's the preface. Always worthwhile to take and read the preface to a book. Okay. One of the things that he did that I found interesting was he listed his contacts in the various archives. Now, this is a dated book, but still, you go, if you have a name in an archive and the major archives that he used, it's certainly handy to get there. And then various details that I found then. Now, Virginia Courts of the Southwest. Let's see how this is going to come up. Okay. Now, like I said, I did 2 entries for this. Okay. The first entry, as you can see, is by surname. So if I didn't find any surnames or any people in those 2 reference counties that I was telling you about, and tried to match them up, it came back with nothing that matched. I put a none in the heading of the note. If I found somebody, I put a a hit, AH for a hit, in the note, so I can come back there. So this Joseph looks like this is my reference number, and since it has X's in it, it means I haven't signed one, but it has a family search number yet. If it has X's in it, it's probably not in my main line. And and I generally default to the family search ID at that point. And so here's the information I found. None of these are in my main line, but all of them are worth researching because I also do research on the sides, especially for fan type research. My main Bose and Pulse line is there's no one there. Bonwell, there's no one there. But you're going to probably get sick of hearing Fry. Fry's my family, one of my major families in West Virginia. And for starters, there's on page 508, there's a discussion about Joshua Fry that isn't in the index. So don't go by the index. You're going to have to read in this book to take and see things. So I happened to stumble on him and doing my context research. And so this is what's in the book. And then I look at what possible hits it is. And since I have this family search ID here, and looky here. Oh, that's Sarah Fry. That's my connection. I think that my research says that this is connected to my family and is connected at Sarah Fry. And that's a major person in my family on my main line. And then here's one, a Benjamin Fry. You'll hear a lot about Benjamin today. He is in my main line. And so that's a possibility for more additional research. And this one, I'm pretty sure, is in my main line also. He's the son of this one. Benjamin 2, Benjamin is the son of Benjamin 1, I think. And I'll also note this. Look how many hits. You know what? He turned out to be a judge. I had no idea we had a judge in West Virginia in this time frame, or some sort of legal entity, because people were appearing before him. These are records of people appearing before him and him issuing orders to have them appear before him. So he is some kind of legal entity. And so for me, this is big hits. I've got a lot of work to do now. And I'm just really getting started. Since I own this book, it's sitting right here on my side, and I haven't put it down for 2 days. Okay, now that takes care of all the surname stuff. Now, I look at context a lot. And when I looked at the context on this book, when I looked at the forward, here's that river's name in Ohio. These 3 counties in West Augusta, Virginia. And Augusta, Virginia is basically what we know as West Virginia today. And it had 3 Virginia counties in it: Ohio, this name, and this was the name of a river. I assume that's the name of a river, but most of my work has gone on around here, so I haven't gone looking for that one yet. These were in a territorial conflict between Pennsylvania and Virginia, and there was quite a bit of legal shenaglings going on, and this wasn't settled until the United States of America was established, and that set the boundaries all through the late 1700s in both the Confederacy of the U.S. and American colonies and the British colonies These two were duking it out over who owned that property. This talks about the minute books. This book is strange in that uh, uh, the first 500 pages are an exact copy, page number and everything, from a publication that was put out by the Carnegie Libraries. It was the annuals of the Carnegie Library, and it was the page numbers and everything that were in there. And they used the index from that in this. So that's the reason why they kept the numbers the same. Quite an interesting book. I've got a copy of it. If you want pages out of it, let me know. The controversy goes on and on and on. There's about 71 pages worth of controversy in here, but there's all kinds of little tidbits that Sue would love, like they call out this map of Louisiana, New General Atlas in 1721. Louisiana was everything west of the Alleghenies that the French claimed ownership to. So this is all talking about the French and the times that led up to the French and Indian War, and the times after the French and Indian War. So it's going from when William Penn came over here in 1682. It goes all the way up through the French and Indian War. So you've got all types of information about that. Just for me, it's really quite a find. That whole time frame, I've been trying to research the French and Indian War. The Frys are they had a fort in the French and Indian War that they built at the direction of George Washington, and George Washington's all through this thing. Joshua Fry shows up here, and I can find no relationship to him. This is the Joshua Fry that didn't show up in the index when you looked at the Frys in the index back here. So there it is, page 508. So I cross-referenced it here. Okay. So that said, let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Well, I showed you the two ways in which I did this. I just put one under the family search link that I had in here. I had two links for this book, and the other under the WorldCat link. All right, I'm going to shut down this and try and do another one in a few minutes. Hi, it's me, Robert Pulse. I'm returning to take and talk about the books I found on the shelf at the High Point Library. Okay, I found three books. I got through three books. There was a whole shelf of West Virginia books, and then there's probably a shelving unit of Virginia books. So I've got a lot more to do. The first book was West Virginians in the American Revolution. The last book, actually, was the Index to West Virginia Estates before 1866. And then the book that I spent the most time on was West Virginia Estate Settlements, an Index to Wills, Inventories, and Appraisals, and Land Grants and Surveys to 1850. West Virginia's the American Revolution. I've given you a sample. I plan on using it some, but it's got to be analyzed more. Like I said, West Virginia Estate Settlements, didn't get it completed. I only got about 3 pages in it. So the big one was the West Virginia Estates up to 1850. Now, a couple things. You need to take and make certain that you look at the abbreviations in the front of the book. And then you need to take and make a copy or something of the abbreviations, the special codes that are used for each one of the counties. And this is what I want to talk about. This is Lodwick Jefferson Fry, and that's what appears in the book. This is what he could be in my stuff. This is my reference number. This is the family search ID. This is the DAR number for this individual. Okay. Now, you take that code, that WB1-321, and that works out when you use this information up here to be Will Book 1, 1801 to 1813. So let's see what we do with that. And when we take and put it into Zotero. So we go to Virginia Research, and this is the first file we build. I go down each of the surnames and put what page it's on, and I put AH if it's an A hit. I have found a hit on there. And here's the Fry page. Now, I got excited about the Fry page. There's the information I just showed you, and I started putting all the links in here. Not where you need to put the links. You need to put the links in your research log, right? So let's go down and find Fry. He's 35. Okay, there's Fry. And here's the library research. Okay, that's got the same information in it and everything that was there. And where are the links? Here are all those nice family search links all the way down here. And the final link in this catalog is a will. And let's see if I've got that still up. Okay. And this is the will. And that's what it looks like. And then there's 2 sales accounts in there. Needs to go back one. I was playing with it a while ago, and I didn't move it back. And each of the pages are 3 to 4 pages long, and each one of the pages has an individual entry in family search. Okay. So this came from the research log. And there's all the information. I've got a lot more work to take and do, but I've got all this information in family search. Now going back to the presentation. There we go. Okay. What are my future plans, research plans? Okay, the first thing is on this one. Yeah. I need a better copy of the Pulse page. When I took a copy of it using the cell phone, it blurred. And I've also been asked by Diane Brown to do some research on her surnames. And so I need to go back and look at that book again. On the West Virginia estates and settlements, I just barely got started. So I got to finish that. And then, like I said, there's a whole bunch of more books there to take in research. So I've got to go back and start doing some more books and doing some better scanning. Thank you now.